Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Color and Scribbles. My name is Rachel, and this week I want to talk a little bit about how to set better art goals for yourself and how to learn art more effectively. So, I know that it can seem really daunting if you're a beginner to just come in and try to learn art because there is so much that goes into art. So, hopefully some of these methods will help you set better goals for yourself and will help it seem less daunting and less frustrating, potentially. So, here we go. Firstly, a bad goal is anything that's super vague or, just unspecific, because it's not going to help you get anywhere. Like, if your goal is just to be the very best or the best there ever was or whatever, like, you don't have any way to get from where you are to there. So a goal should naturally lead you to where you want to get to. So this is kind of a little bit based off of the SMART goal planning technique, and if you've never heard of that, I would recommend looking it up because it really has helped me just think about setting goals in a better and more effective way. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And not all of those apply perfectly to art because art it's an organic learning thing, and like everybody's going to go a little differently and at a different pace. So not all of those are perfect for art, but some of them are. And it helps you start thinking about it in a more realistic, attainable, specific way. So yeah, for me at least, it helped me get in a better mindset for learning. So I would recommend checking that out if you're interested in improving the way you set goals. So without further ado, I have a couple of suggestions for what kinds of goals would be good depending on where you are in your art journey. So if you're a beginner, I think the most important thing is to focus on just time and time-based challenges or time-based goals, because consistency and habit is the foundation of learning art. You can't do art once a month and expect to improve at any kind of reasonable rate. So the most important thing, if you really are serious about learning art, is to do it consistently and to get into the habit of having art be part of your daily routine if you can. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be able to do it every single day usually, but you still want to get into the habit of making art as often as possible. And if you're a beginner, or if you've maybe been on a hiatus for a couple of years, I would recommend just starting there. Just telling yourself that, you have to draw for 30 minutes a day, and don't get caught up in the skills portion. Like, don't let yourself get too wound up with the talent or the specifically learning particular things. Like, just focus on the time and cranking out pieces. And even if they suck, know that you have reached your goal for the day just by putting in the time. So that kind of helps you, it gets you in the habit of doing art, and it also can make the introduction into art less intimidating because you don't have a goal based on ability. You don't have to worry about getting too caught up in the fact that you can't draw a nose correctly or something. Like, that doesn't matter. It just matters that you did it and that you got it done every day. So that's what to do as a beginner. And then once you've kind of gotten to the point where you are consistently doing art on a regular basis and it feels like it's part of your routine, then you can move on to goals that are going to help you actually improve at your talent. So there's two ways that I came up with for improving talent. The first way is something you can implement if you're not feeling especially creative, or if you just want to get the fundamental skills and the foundational skills just knocked out of the park, and that is iterative learning. So this is now focusing on the specific part of SMART goals. So basically with iterative learning, what you do is you pick one very specific thing that you want to learn and iterate on that over and over and over until you feel like you've really got the hang of it, and not just like kind of got the hang of it, but until you feel like you've really mastered it as much as you need to. So that could be something like learning to draw hands, and you would draw a hand in like one position over and over and over until you feel like you really understand it, until you feel like you've really gotten the proportions down, you understand the bones and the muscle and the fat pads and everything, and then you can start like drawing the hand in different positions and drawing the hand in different lighting and stuff like that. So basically, this is a really good method if you're not feeling super creative, but you still want to learn really quickly and effectively. And you could either set up a lesson plan for yourself or follow someone else's lesson plan for this. But yeah, the goal is just to pick one specific thing and just really knock it out of the park before you move on to the next one. And then another method for more like once you've gotten into the habit of doing art every day, another method that you can do is to design a piece that you want to create. And this is for people who are, you know, you've got these grand visions of pictures that you want to make in your head, but you just don't feel like you've quite gotten to the point where you can make them yet. So if you're that kind of person where you're very creative and you already have all of these ideas in mind, then design the piece you want to make and break down what the elements are that are going to go into that piece and do studies and lessons on each of those elements. So if you wanted to do like a battle scene with two characters fighting a giant monster in a cave or something, so some of the elements that could go into that are, you know, anatomy, armor, posing, environments, textures, animal anatomy. So just, you know, break down and make a comprehensive list, and then for anything that you feel like you might struggle with, go and start doing some studies of that. So this is a really good method because it lets you learn like on the job, so to say, which helps you retain the information better. So because you are applying the things that you're learning to a piece immediately, it can help the information stick better than just doing the iterative process, because then, you know, with the iterative process, you can master something, but then once you go to actually apply it to a piece, it might turn out that it, you know, goes a little bit differently than you were expecting. So this method of designing a piece and then learning specifically for that piece, while it could be limiting in that you're not learning a complete broad range of everything, it is also going to help you learn those specific things more effectively or more completely, I guess, because it's immediately getting applied to something. So it just kind of depends on what kind of person you are and which method seems like it would suit you better personally. But those are, and I mean, you can also, you know, mix and match. Like you can do both. You can do a little bit of everything if you want to. But yeah, so those are some goal methods. And then one more thing that kind of goes along with this goal setting stuff is the importance of active learning. So basically, we've, as a culture, have this whole idea of like practice makes perfect, but really practice just makes permanent. And if you're practicing something the wrong way, that's going to become permanent and you're going to do it wrong and have to unlearn it later. So it's really important to actively be analyzing your work and to actively think about and focus on the stuff that you want to improve on next time. So rather than just mindlessly drawing, you know, for example, for the iterative process, rather than just mindlessly drawing a hand over and over and over, it's really important that you study each of your drawings and figure out what went wrong and what went right and what you want to improve on for the next one. So in that you are actively, you know, analyzing and actively learning, basically. So that's really important, and that will dramatically shorten the time it takes you to learn something. If you're able to get in the habit of analyzing your work and having other people analyze it, that can help too. So yeah, that's the video this week. If you enjoyed it, please consider checking out my Patreon. And if you have any questions or comments or ideas, please drop it in the comments below. This is not in any way an exhaustive list. There's lots of ways that people learn, and there's lots of ways that people set goals, and I would love to hear about how you like to set goals and any other methods that you've heard of. So please share that below if you have any thoughts. And yeah, I hope that you stick around for next week's video, and have a great week. Draw some pictures and have fun.